Hi, it's Dara. This is the fourth video on piano keys that I promised to share with you. The purpose of this video is to show how you can make a design in the middle of your border or the block that you're doing and then create piano keys around that. One of the main reasons you want to do that is it's going to draw attention to the design. It's also going to have a very nice look of continuity where you have this focus design on your quilt, and then having the piano keys, it's going to draw your eye. So I want to remind you as well, I'm going to use single piano keys around it, but you can also do smaller double keys or triple keys, and that's just going to create a whole new look for it. I almost think about it if, you know, when you have a pin tuck on a shirt, like when you have wearing a tuxedo and they have kind of that ruffle in there, that kind of draws your eye and it adds interest. It's the same kind of thing with the quilting. And so as you create different elements of your quilt, I want you to think of it in a different way. So even this, for example, making this feather, this beautiful motif, how different would this motif look if it had single piano keys, double piano keys? Think about the spacing in between your piano keys, because you're probably saying, well, how do I know how wide to make my piano keys? And that's a really good question. It's like, how do you want your eye to travel on the quilt that you're creating? So if you go back to my first video and talking about single, double, triple, or random, you can see the different looks and the different ways that those lines can portray the border. Also, if you looked at some of the examples that I gave, the real life examples of the quilts that I've quilted, you can really see what effect that has. And so I want you to be really mindful of the way that you select the designs in your quilt. So here's my pretty design that I created for this example. So I made these pretty feathers, and so you say, okay, now I have this design, what am I going to do? I have a whole video just talking about how to decide what piano key to use when. For this example, I'm going to show you how I decided. So in my feather, I have a double spine. And so it's kind of unique and kind of fun. So I thought for my piano keys, I'm actually going to create double piano keys. And they're going to be about the same distance as this spacing here. And so what that does to the brain, our brains like to have order and continuity. We like symmetry. It makes sense. And so having that is going to really complement this inside. If I wanted to have a huge contrast, I would use piano keys that are more abstract and less flowy. I want to have a really nice design that's going to flow and just feel very comfortable for my brain and those people who are going to be looking at it. And so the other thing I'm going to consider is the width of my feathers. So when I'm spacing it, do I want it to be a similar space to the feathers, or do I want to have more of a contrast or less of a contrast? So those are all some design elements that you need to consider as you plan your borders that have your piano keys that have a design on the inside. Okay, so here I have my beautiful design, and I'm going to show you how I did this. So I'm just going to finish up this stitch. So I took this same distance, approximate that, and I did these lines in here. So I created this double line and creating this single ridge in here that's very similar to the one there. So it really is cohesive. You can see how beautiful that is. And then what I did is I came down here and then I traced all along this pretty little feather. And then because I'm keeping my ruler consistent with this previous line, then I know that I can just build it on there. And now what I'm going to do is, see what I've done? Is I'm going to create these lines. I'm going to work my way all down here to my feather. And I'm just gonna keep going until I get to the point where I am now straight up. And then I'm gonna keep going with this design I created here until the end. Then I'm gonna travel back along this line, and then, isn't that amazing? I'll be able to connect back with this one, and I'll do the same thing. I'll come across, and then I've done that. So that's a kind of a cheater, a fun method to getting to where you want to be. So here are some tips to help you with doing this design. One of the things that I just can't emphasize enough is that when you come in here and you come across, I really want you to focus on traveling along the border line. So I try really hard to do it, and remember, this is a high contrasting thread, and I didn't quite nail it there, and you can kind of see that. So you really want to make sure that those stitches, it's almost like they're locking. So you bring the stitch right into that line, you travel right along that line, and then you come right up. So it's like this nice sharp 90 degree. And so that's really important. When you're coming into these designs, you want to travel as close as possible to the existing feather. I did that one really, really well. This one's also really good, right? So give yourself some credit when you nail it. And if you don't quite nail it, that's okay. A lot of times you're going to be doing this with a blending thread. It's not going to be as noticeable. Also, we're really looking at this with a magnifying glass. So then I've come up here. I had to travel just a little bit along there, come across, just bump that out a little. I'm keeping my eye, so I will have to come back and I will have to create that second line. But now I've come and I'm going to line this up with this line. It's not going to be exactly perfect, but it's pretty dang close. So then you are going to work off of this one here. If you want to check with this ruler and just to kind of see if you're on track, that's totally fine. But it's nice to have, it's important to have these consistent and these consistent. And so if it's just a little bit off, just a little bit changing it will help it to kind of keep that squared up. So that's really important. Now, the one thing that can happen is there's lots of puff. And this, on this sample, I'm using 2 layers of batting. I have my wool batting and I have my 80-20 underneath. So there's a lot of fullness. And so if you're feeling like you are, like the fabric is kind of gathering, what I recommend is you just push your finger down and kind of bring that, almost like you're bringing this in, and you can have that extra fabric go within that stitch. And if you're coming to the end and it's feeling like it's kind of doubling up, just hold your finger down and feed it through very gently, and that's going to help you ease into that fullness. Okay, so now I've mostly finished this, and so you can see now we've got, these are fairly lined up. They look really great, I think, how it really accents this spine here. It travels, it's really distinct, and I love how it's turned out. Thank you so much for watching my 4th piano key video series of how to fit piano keys around beautiful designs. I hope this really opened up your mind to different ways of using piano keys. I love being able to explore one design and doing it in so many different ways, because it really helps you to increase your skills and your confidence when you quilt your own quilts and those of your customers. So if you want to see more examples, I've got lots on my Instagram and on my website of different ways that you can use piano keys. It is just amazing when you think of our imaginations are our limitations. And so just allow yourself permission to think differently and to use your ruler and your mind in a new way. I encourage you to leave your comments below of what you liked and where you want more direction. I am so happy to help you increase your skills and abilities. Also, I encourage you to try them out and then tag me in a picture. So I'm at Dara Tomasson on Instagram and my website. You can email me and just let me know. I totally want to help you in how you can do this. I know for me, I gained so much confidence in how I can approach all sorts of borders and different client quilts. And these simple principles have just allowed me to explode on the way I can custom quilt and change that quilt top and make it so beautiful. So again, leave your comment below of what you really liked, and if there's anything more that you want to learn about piano keys, please let me know and I am here to help you.